Good everybody, it's Chris with Writer's Game, stuttering over my own name there. But yes, I'm gonna jump into Final Fantasy 14 in just a moment. I'm actually already logged in, of course, and today's a special treat because I have actually checked all of my settings and they seem to be working. Yay! A little bit of a celebration on my minor victory there, and we have background music today. I just want to point out this is from Stream Beats, which is Harris Heller's project. You can get it through Amazon or Amazon Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. Not Google. So I've done that, and it's DRM free music, but you do have to pay for it, I think, because you can stream it from YouTube, but you're going to get ads or whatever. Or you can log into your Amazon Music and pay your monthly thing. You can't play it without that. So I just wanted to point that out for anybody who's interested in having background music in their game. And the reason I have chosen to do so is because apparently Final Fantasy NX Square are very, very sensitive when it comes to their copyright infringements for music and whatnot. And my understanding is you kind of have to be. You have to go after people who are infringing on your copyright, or you can lose your copyright, and that's just a big burden for companies to have, and it's just yet another thing for small companies to have to worry about. So I don't want to incur their wrath, but I also want to be respectful of the fact that this is their creative process. So using Streambeats. And if you guys are doing your own stream, I highly recommend that you check them out. And they have a variety of different styles. This is ambient, and I think it kind of matches the tone of Final Fantasy 14. So let's go ahead and click in here. As mentioned, today we are chasing a murderer. And I don't know, my screen gets cut off. There we go. That's a little better. So I have a button, a very detailed, ornate button that was found on the body of a unfortunate young lass who got murdered in the game, and that investigation has led me to this guy here who says basically he's going to reveal what he knows. He can't feign ignorance any longer. I was once a manservant in the employ of one of the oldest and proudest families in Gridania. Maybe it's Gridania, but I don't know, it just sounds a little bit better with a the D'Artancourts. During that time, I had the honor of waiting upon Lady Amandine or Arnandine. It's kind of hard to tell. Mistress of the household. Fair as summer was she, and possessed a heart befitting her radiance. Alas, the calamity wrought great change in her. Though my lady escaped with her life, death may well have been a kinder fate. Never will I forget the day her bandages were removed, and she beheld her disfigured face for the first time. At that moment, the kindly woman I knew ceased to be. Unable to bear the thought of being seen, my lady sequestered herself within her chambers and refused all company. This continued for many uneasy moons, until one day, without warning, she began receiving queer guests. None amongst us knew whence they came, these masked men, but my lady believed that they would help her regain that which she had lost. So began the rites of rejuvenation. These rituals seemed innocent enough in the beginning, but grew ever more grotesque as time went by. Eventually there came a day when my lady bound one of her handmaids to the bed and proceeded to mutilate the poor girl's face. Suffice it to say, she did not survive the ordeal. It fell to me to dispose of her body. I performed the dreadful task as bade, obedient servant that I was, and when the time came to return to the house, my legs refused to move. I knew then that I could not go back to that place, not after the nightmare I had witnessed. So it was that I left Hawk Manor, my home for nigh on half a century. Long did I weep for the girl who was slain, and longer still for the woman that Lady Amandine had been. Yet one cannot weep forever, and I endeavored to put the matter behind me. Indeed, I had resolved never to speak of my experience until you appeared before me. My lady's madness must be ended, lest more innocent lives be lost. Lay her tormented soul to rest, as you swore to me you would. She awaits you at Hawk Manor on the western edge of the central shroud. Go now. Go and do what must be done. Quickest way to get somewhere? Teleport, but you have to have been there before. Costs a bit of money, a bit of gil. Well worth the time. This is the first game, truly, the first game I've ever played where just playing the quests and whatnot has allowed me to rack up a reasonable amount of money. Now, 100,000 of this was from a friend, but I've never touched that money. 135,000 gil I have been able to round up on my own. And usually I'm dead broke in games. I don't care about treasure except for stuff that helps get my gear up. I don't care about money unless I'm missing a spell or something and I need to buy it. Those, you know, to me, it's the gameplay is way more important. So I usually don't go grinding for the sake of grinding, you know, just to get some resources or money or that sort of thing. And the game has been very good at providing a serviceable amount of coins so you can actually continue without too much concern over, you know, I don't have 10 gil to pay for something. I need to go murder some monsters and or something, you know, like none of that's been an issue, which has been fantastic. I can't voice how much that's been just a relief because, again, usually it's not my experience. I'm going totally in the wrong way. This is not going to be helpful at all. Okay, there's a quest here for that lady. This is the Warriors of Light set for my chocobo. For the saddle. I like the horns. Ramming speed. Apparently it's a, I would assume as Warriors Light, sort of a callback to the original Final Fantasy story or some of the original Final Fantasy stuff. And this game has made me absolutely want to play the previous Final Fantasies again. I think that would be hundreds of hours to work through. And I'm not sure I have hundreds of hours. Okay, I'm looking for the ramp up and it's right there. It's the giant root. Oops. Is this guy? Rostabont sent you? Thank the 12. I just about given up hope in anyone to answer our call. Tell me, did you perhaps notice the gaping hole in the ground on your way here? This is not the same quest. Ah, it would be hard to miss it. One of the many remnants of Dalaman's fury. The scaffolding you see is a solution we worked up with our friends from the Carpenter's Guild, but even the sturdiest wood is at the mercy of the elements. The rains have fallen hard of late, and I fear there might still be some saggy planks left unattended. Please see to them, as well as any pests who have come to feast on the wood. So a bit of fighting and a bit of carpentry. Where am I? Oh, not even close. We'll do that in a bit. Because I'm hunting a murderer. So obviously my mini-map does the same job as this, right? But I find it so useless. Like, I can barely see around me. I definitely can't see long-term goals. So I ignore this most of the time. I would much rather have something I can scale out to my desire and then go from there. Oh my, that's a huge monster. I I suppose I could just... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Do that. Aha! Always looking to save a little geography, right? Little space. That's as small as it will go. Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna have to move this down a wee bit. Covers up time and a bunch of other things, but various hot bars. Hopefully I don't need them. Okay, on we go. That's new. Put those hot bars over here now. Hello, floating eye. There are some sounds in the game that are very helpful. So even though I don't have them on at all, I just turn the volume straight down. There is a sound that happens when you get aggro. And every time you get aggro it happens. So you know whether like 1 or 4 creatures have aggroed you, which is really good. She's probably killed off all of her people, the ones that didn't flee, and now she's searching the countryside for other poor victims. I don't need you, Smith. I know how to do group stuff. Make sure I can see that. Okay. I dislike when pets get in the way, but it happens all the time. Hawk Manor. Alright, I'm going to let my usual gaming companion in this game, good friend of mine, know that I have unlocked this, but we're probably not going to do it right now because I need to... Well, I could. Let's see if I can do it with a rando group. I have never been here before, so this will be a bit of a interesting exercise. Wait, I just dismiss Macho Gobo. That's a named mob. I'm 39. I probably shouldn't try to take them on. But this floating eye, totally. Pretty straightforward sequence that they have for gladiators or paladins. It's the same sequence right now. I think eventually one of these gets changed up to a paladin ability, but I'm not sure. What is that? Queuing for the dungeon, maybe? They do have a strange set of, I'm not used to it, but it's also a little bit busy. You can have above your name, below your name, beside your name. I'd personally just rather have title, and then this below, kind of like most games have. think I'm going to be de-leveled a wee bit for that because I'm 11 levels higher. Nice. Well, I did get de-leveled. 31, I should still be a paladin. I want my paladin doohickey. So I tend to start by some AoEs and then jump into some single target and then slap out an AoE every now and again. That's just to up my DPS to help bring down the monsters a little bit quicker. Healer's got good mana. Got good. That's great. Great grammar. Has good. Great mana. Door on the left, room on the left. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what this is. This bar underneath, is that like aggro? Enmity? Alright, one thing the map doesn't do is show me my party members. Maybe it does. Nope. Ah, shite. Why'd you do that? Now when you, what I do like about the combos is when your target dies, you can still complete the combo. So your next step, you know, is still can be Rage of Halone or whatever that's called. Where in a lot of games, as soon as your, you know, target dies, you have to start over, and that's okay too. I just think it's great that they allow you to kind of continue whatever your muscle memory is. So these are positive things, buffs going on. These, which I don't have right now, are debuffs. Let's make sure we're well fed. Take on the bad guys. Blood Drain 61. think another person in the party did the interrupt. It's very nice. I've really enjoyed playing a tank class in this game. It's not particularly hard. You really have to worry about your, which ability you're using, and your placement most of all. And in that way, it really reminds me of EverQuest. EverQuest being the first game I ever played that was an MMO. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I think there's only one I can get here. Anyways, the first one I invested a lot of time into and really got to learn and own my own account. So, and a big part of that is which abilities are you using and where's your placement according to the mob. In front, behind, beside, like whatever, I don't know what I think beside is the thing, but, so I like that about this game. I like that you can choose your own sequence of events for abilities to try to maximize what you're looking for. And as a DPS, your goal is probably just to get all the big numbers, but not that there's number tracking in this in any way that I can see. So you're just looking to murder things as fast as possible, but as a tank you really are looking to manage your aggro, and that's kind of a more fun game in its own way. Because anybody can do big numbers. Not everybody can manage aggro in a reasonable way. Alright, well let's see how this works. Based on the other guys, there should be a giant circle that they put out. So I want to move them to the edges here. Give our team more space to move around in when the circle appears. I don't think it was that little one. Again, I'm just going on the smaller minions that look different. They're not boss minions. Having that massive fear. I like the display here. I click on that. I know how long I have for it to show up. Not sure what that small circle is for. I can stand outside of it and still hit them, so it's like, give me my space. I'm enjoying the music. There's no game sounds, but it gives me something to kind of listen to. The red hall is no longer sealed. Ooh, loot. Greed. Need. Probably an upgrade. I don't know where we're going. We update our gear set. I don't do a ton of damage with this AoE. It's really about just getting aggro on multiple monsters, preferably before they have a ton of aggro by everybody else. There must be a group bonus. I have an equipment that gives me a 30% bonus on XP. But I'm above level 30, which it still applies for, but I have another one that gives me an additional 30, which is all great and stuff, but what I'm trying to say is I only have a 30% bonus. This is 96 or 94 or whatever it is, which means there has to be another reason. Come on now. I don't know that paladins get any abilities specifically to help with undead or some bonuses versus undead. It'd be interesting though to see where their strengths lie. And I was asking, you know, I don't know much about this game. A friend of mine has played it way more than me, and I asked a simple question: hey, you play a class for a while, and then you can be an advanced version of that class. Conjurer becomes a white mage, I guess, and Paladin becomes, Gladiator becomes a Paladin. Is there any reason to stick with the base class and not, you know, do the advanced class? And his answer was no. There's no benefit to playing that way. Now, if you guys have any ideas otherwise on why it would be a benefit to stay Gladiator and not necessarily go Paladin, or stay Conjurer and not necessarily go White Mage, by all means let me know, either in the chat here today or in comments when this video gets posted. I would love to see people's thoughts, and maybe they know something that my friend and I do not. I dislike it when you don't pay attention to me. I need all of your attention. I do like the animations for combat in this game. Not saying they're necessarily realistic or any of that, but they seem to have form in mind to some degree, and I really do appreciate that. You know, how the body actually works. Start with 3 of these. Boop. That's the one I don't get. The animation for this particular one, for Spirits Within, it does look very awkward. And maybe it's effective. Maybe it's based on, I don't know, some sort of martial skills, but it does look extremely awkward. Somebody out, or to keep somebody in. Ooh, the Carnation Door. Looks like this is one with ads. Gonna do another one. Wasn't sure I hit that guy before. do like this ability. It doesn't interrupt my sequence. So it's kind of like a freebie. You get to throw in whenever it's up. It takes 30 seconds to get back up, but fantastic. Sorry, yawning there a bit. Treasure coffers. Is that it? Where'd they go? Oh, return. Reading their text or instructions would be good. Okay. I don't mind looking silly though, so it's fine. Now, that's a trick using return, obviously, to go back to the beginning. That's what happened, but you'll notice it has quite the long cooldown, 900 seconds. Is that eyeball bat thing fleeing? And is this the so-called marred ugly lady who was devastated by the cataclysm? She became a succubus. Do 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 do. Interesting. Let's do it. A lot of these seem to be tank and spanks, with again a little bit of consideration for where you're putting yourself and you know, the boss, but not difficult, and I'm okay with that. I think some of the in an effort to bring new challenges, some of the boss encounters that I've played in other games just get a little too complicated. Like if you're off by you know this to this, it makes a big difference. And I'm not talking just the edge of like bullet hell games. You have to be sometimes within a pixel of accuracy, and being inaccurate in any direction is not acceptable. You'll die. And I kind of feel like some of the raids that I've seen have went in that direction, and I just don't find them fun. They're not epic. They're not anything. They just look like a fantasy game, but you're really playing a bullet hell game. Okay, so this damage I'm taking, I don't know if I can avoid it somehow. Oh, maybe I need to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm feared. I don't even pay attention to the boss's health, really. It's like, just keep doing what you're doing until you win. Unbreakable Knuckles. always like the healer. I mean, not always, but, you know, I tend to like the healer. Because healers are great. Tanks are great. DPS is passable, so they're okay. I'm looking for you. You must die because we have a plan. Alas, we came here not to play, but to make the measure of your strength for Master Lahabrea. That task is now accomplished, we take our leave of you. But what if I don't want to take my leave of you? Apparently I have no choice. Cutscene! Very well, Bringer of Light. You have 3 crystals, and that makes you amazing. Well, that was fun. A little different. I'm just checking something out here for a moment. 1 minute. I think the music is coming through all that well. Okay, now it is. Well, I am learning with every new time I get on here. And for example, the volumes for myself and the music, you know, they're reading in my software to a certain level. But I would have thought that they'd be louder. And if I go any louder than I am right now, I start to peak into the yellow and the red. But I'm not coming through all that loud in Twitch itself. So, very strange. Very strange. And something I will dive into with each passing stream. Because it's really... I wish there was a way you could live test without being live, right? You could figure it out where you are the receiver or maybe a different computer, but you know, you're not live to everybody, because then you can actually figure out all of your settings and your details and your whatever, and not subject your viewers to it. And I suppose you could just go live at some random time, turn off your notifications, and then from there, let's make sure I have this. No! I don't even know where I was. You know, and then test all your stuff when, you know, supposedly you don't have any viewers. But if you have a big enough audience, how do you know that? Like, you know, the big guys out there, as soon as they jump on, or girls, or people, as soon as they jump on, they tend to have people like waiting, or they get the notification maybe, but I don't know. This is the Leatherworkers Guild. Okay. Astronomy. I was making the observation last night. People tend to have interesting names, and some of them are childish, and some of them are punny and whatever. But for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of names. Not that one so much, but like this one, Terrell Toff, Terrell and Toff. They are in line with the game itself. And Terrell and Toff doesn't mean anything to me, but a lot of them are almost like they conjure an image, and then they have names like this guy, which is just syllables. You are returned! What sights await you within the manor? What has become of Lady Amandine? You must tell me all. Well, she succeeded in getting her face back. Kind of. So she went so far as to consort with devils. Would that I could have done more to prevent her fall. May she finally find peace in the beyond. I know not whether the masked men you encounter are the same pair that first led my lady astray, but it is plain that they are the same vile brood. Should the chance ever present itself, promise me that you will visit upon them tenfold the woe they have brought upon others. But who am I to speak of punishment? By my silence I allowed I know not how many innocent young women to die in unspeakable circumstances. It matters not wherefore. Through misplaced loyalty, cowardice, or both, I am abhorrent to a gross crime. I will surrender myself to the authorities and accept whatever punishment they deem just. I only pray that the gods will have mercy on my soul. I just want to point out here while we're... Okay, that makes more sense. Never mind. Not pointing anything out. I don't see you moving, buddy. Alright, report to Milafina. So we go to here. We need there. Horizon. It's a gorgeous day to adventure, and by that I should mean that it's overcast and nasty, but it's actually quite nice. I should definitely go outside today. Doesn't mean I will, but I should. So apparently there's a lot of people coming over from WoW. I was reading in this article that in WoW circles, possibly on their trade channels or their various, whatever the new Crossroads is, people make jokes all the time of quitting WoW and joining Final Fantasy. And I did not quit WoW. I quit WoW a while ago. And I just started this, I don't know, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? But apparently there is a large influx of new blood to the game, and I think that's wonderful. As long as they don't bring their trolly behavior with them. Welcome back, Cadus. Full glad I am to see you safely return. Tell me, how fared you on your sojourn into the Twelveswood? I'll nod and gesture, as if I tell a long story. 2 of Libria's minions, and they sought to measure your strength by their own admission? The devils taunt us. It is beyond doubt, then. The Asians have begun to move in earnest. Would that we knew to what end. Yet I will not bemoan our plight. Thanks to your tireless efforts, we are at least aware of the encroaching darkness. Alas, we can only do so much. It is clear to me now that we Scions are too few to protect the realm against this threat unaided. We must needs alert the three nations to the presence of this elusive enemy, and recommend that they heighten their vigil. I'm totally thinking of other things right now, which takes my concentration away. There's no shortage of misery in the world that the Ascians might exploit. We have an arduous struggle ahead of us. That's what we call an adventure! Yet come what may, we may not allow ourselves to become lost to hope, for that is precisely what the enemy desires. We have gleaned all we can from the information available to us. Let us set this investigation aside for the present. Another matter has arisen that requires your attention. Let me know when you're ready to be briefed, and I will summon the others. Oh, okay, cool. And I get some gear. So we have concluded, I did not show the beginning of the quest. It's actually a reasonably long one. I think that was the last third, maybe even less, last quarter, of talking to people, doing things. I think it's fairly long, but it was enjoyable. So we have, or I have shown the conclusion of that. We know that the perpetrator of the murders is the lady that we fought, and I don't remember her name or her affiliation or any of that, but we know the conclusion. We just obviously have to, as mentioned here, fight off the Ascians, and that'll be the next leg of this. But right now, I'm going to open up my reward, and then I'm going to wrap it up here, because I have done what I achieved, or was looking to achieve. An elm Machuletti is placed in your armory chest, and a goatskin targ. Alright, so let's check here. Are any of these upgrades? Manor scale fingers are upgrades. I don't remember picking those up, but okay. They do not have the materia slots. One moment. Sneezes are not easily repressed, so I'm always racing the mute button so that I don't throw it out to you guys. Alright, so I don't have the slots, but apparently what? They have 52 versus 35. That's a pretty big upgrade. And then manor breaches are 73 versus 24. And I don't know why I'm equipping this versus other options, but it was insistent that that was my better way to go. So let's go ahead and update that gear set. A lot of this is crafting, stuff I haven't used yet, and I definitely need to get into that. Clear up some space. Alright, a little bit of a preview for next time. Millefina is waiting to brief you and your fellow Scions on a new development. So we'll get into that leg later, or perhaps I will make some progress and kind of jump in the middle. If I show you everything, then you'll have no reason to play it yourself. You'll know how it ends. But for the most part, it has been a great experience here, so I highly recommend you guys give it a shot if you want to. Final Fantasy XIV Online. And with that, I bid you good day, great gaming, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend.